that I honestly am shocked that we are at these levels. I'm happy to see it. It certainly makes buying sovereign coins much more attractive. It makes buying all silver items much more attractive. But it really shocks me how they went from such stratospheric levels for 3 years from the very, very top of the food chain. Every source that I scoured throughout the universe to buy this stuff was selling items at 3-4 times premium what they're being sold for right now, and then just like that, everything's come down. Now, I'm not convinced that this is not going to just turn right back around as more people start jumping back into this market. But right now, unequivocally, across the board on every silver item that we sell, from 1,000-ounce bars to silver eagles, the premiums are the lowest they've been since literally 2019.
Yeah, and I'm curious how people responded to that. Obviously, they don't like when premiums are on the higher side. Have people been motivated? Order flows picked back up, or what's been the market response so far?
Yeah, they have been, and we've seen a lot more interest in sovereign mint coins too, because quite frankly, I've had a hard time even buying them for myself or recommending even for our company. I mean, I know I have to have them in stock and have to offer them, but it's something that I didn't take really much joy in doing, in buying coins that were trading at all-time high premiums when the silver price in and of itself was lagging. Now, I understand the argument and I understand the story, but it's still aggravating. And if it's aggravating for me, I can only imagine how the consumer felt. But what we're seeing right now is a more realistic semblance of reality. And, if you figure that most of the sovereign mint coins, the Krugerrand, the Philharmonic, the Maple Leaf, the Britannia, the Kangaroo, these are all selling somewhere between $350 and $375 over the price of silver. That's not too far away from where they always were, maybe a buck and a quarter above it. But most of the last 3 years, you were seeing $5, $6, $7, $8 over the price of silver, and often with delivery delays. So it's really turned into a buyer's market right now. And, I think there are people, when people are looking to buy, they're certainly very happy. To me, the hardest part is to try to explain this and help people understand how the supply chain issues, how the premium issues have vacillated so much. And quite frankly, it mystifies even myself. And I guess we'll have to see if this is the beginning of a sustained period of reasonable premiums, or we're just going to move right back up into supply chain distortions and supply chain problems again. I'm not convinced that we won't, albeit, even at these levels, you're still roughly 5 to 7% higher than we were my whole career, premium wise. That's not much. That's not an anomaly or something to look at cross-eyed. But the question is, do we stay here or do we move back up? And part of me really feels like the mainstream has such minimal participation in this market yet that the minute they wake up, and whatever the catalyst is that wakes people up, you'll see things go right back up again, because I think there are too many people believing in this soft landing and believing everything's going to be okay, and they'll normalize the balance sheet and all of the same way it's always been, unless this time is different. Part of me believes it is.
Well, you talked about the mainstream, and as I know you saw last week was shocking. We even had CNBC covering silver. Go figure that. Although it's been interesting, that aside, seems like a lot has been on hold in the silver market so far for the first couple of weeks into 2023. The prices stayed right around that $24 level, at least until Monday, when we saw the price drop quite a bit. But I mean, the inventory levels on the COMEX as well as the LBMA last couple of weeks have stayed relatively constant. Although one thing I would like to get your opinion on here, and I'm going to pull up, we're recording as of Monday. We did have quite a sell-off on Monday, some recovery, but I'm curious, on a day like that, what are people saying when they call in, freaked out a little bit by the price? Seems like it happens less than we used to see this, but what was the reaction to that like?
It does, but if you looked at a chart, like Dimitri Speck made a chart of 10 years worth of time, And he comprised it all into that chart right there, basically, which is from Hong Kong to Hong Kong and everything in between. That's a 24-hour chart. And if you look at the chart that he made, he would show how he combined 10 years worth of time into one chart. And that drop right there coincides with the London PM fix as it's entering into New York. And it's uncanny that every single time it's right there. It's contrived, it's done for effect. And I think it reeks of desperation by whoever is setting the price, the commercial banks, the central banks, whoever's behind that. It's just asinine that you see that kind of a contrived market so very frequently, always at that time, every single time at that time as we enter New York, and then it heads back up again. I think people are wise to it. There are people that are wise to it, but it's still exasperating. It's exhausting. It's like, oh my God, again. You got people who don't really quite understand it yet. Some look at it as an opportunity. I'm sure others are a little freaked out by it. To me, it's just more of an annoyance because it really doesn't change a damn thing. But when you look at sentiment, which has kind of waned a little bit since Thanksgiving, it certainly, I'm sure, wreaks havoc on a good portion of the investment public or the people that have already bought or are buying silver. It doesn't change a damn thing. And to me, it's a subsidy. And it reeks of desperation. Now, Big Square talks about this huge position, this leased position that Bank of America has. And he talks about a $24 price that they're trying to maintain until they're able to close out these 1-year contracts that they have, this lease. I don't know what that plays into it, but you can certainly see that $24 is a line in the sand that they keep defending. It goes above, it goes below, it goes above, it goes below. It's that number right now, which is massively undervalued on every single metric, historically in its relationship to gold, historically in its geologic ratio, how it's coming out of the ground. Heck, it's coming out of the ground right now. It's 7-1. And in every single metric, $24 silver or under is absolutely ridiculously inexpensive. And that's what I try to say to people. Have some perspective. It's frustrating, though. I get it. And there's really no other way to talk around it other than to say it's complete and total crap, but it's frustrating.